Good evening, punters. We've just had a wonderful day at Belmont with the feature race being the Group 3 Belmont Sprint over 1,400 metres. I'm here with Chief Steward Brad Lewis for the Stewards Report. And Brad, we had a cracking day. The rain held off and we raced on a 4.
We did race on a 4, and again the track presented in very good condition, Mark, and presented an even surface for all.
Excellent. Let's get into it. Race number 1, the Schweppes Plate over 1,400 metres for the 2-year-old. Now, Clint Johnson-Porter was late to the course and his ride was picked up by Randy Tan.
Yeah, that's right. Honour the Roman had to be a late substitute there, so apprentice Johnson-Porter was actually fined for being late. He just didn't give himself enough time, and under the rules of racing, riders are required to be on course at least 45 minutes prior to their races, Mark, so that replacement had to be effected. And out of the race, unmarked Bills, he'd got a bump at the start when Paris, Texas shifted outwards, but it was caught wide, and Peter Nucky then allowed it to settle back in the field, and this filly will now be sent for a spell, Mark.
On to race 2, the Terrace Restaurant Book Now handicap over 2,000 metres. Uncle George lost a length at the start.
Yeah, it did bound there, Mark, and that put it back a little bit, lost one length. Respondent, the tongue tie actually was dislodged probably after about a travelling 200 metres. The rider did express some disappointment with its performance. We had the vets check the horse, but no abnormality, so perhaps the tongue tie falling has caused that disappointing performance.
Race 3, the James Bogues Premium handicap over 1,000 metres. A pretty quiet sort of time in the stewards' room after that race.
It was, yeah, just rule to win there, Mark. Caught a bit wide, and Mad Brad raced tightly in the early part of the straight.
Race 4, Fast Track to 2016, 17 membership handicap over 1,200 metres. Now, another pretty quiet race, but Red Paddy was actually impeded for a run and lost by a short margin.
That's right, it got home very well and was impeded until about the 200 metre mark. Belmont caught wide, and Bomber Bay fractured in the barriers, commenced awkwardly and lost a length at the start.
On to race number 5, the Perth Racing Young Membership handicap over 2,100 metres, and a bit to report here. Corellebeck was very fractious in the barriers and cast a leg, and we also had A-No Diggers who took off mid-race at about the halfway point.
That's right, Corellebeck again. It's a bit of a handful, this horse, for connections, also barrier staff, and as we saw there, it did rear. It have to be removed from its barrier. Underwent a vet check, was past fit, and then was fractious again after that, so that delayed the start. This horse will have to trial again, but it will spell now, Mark. And A-No Diggers, as you say, there was a moderate pace, and that horse was allowed to stride forward around the field and take the lead from about the 1,300 metres. Romello just had to be angled outwards to get clear running, leaving the 200 metre mark. Our mate Elliot raced keenly, and there was another that had to be angled outwards, got clear at about the 100.
Certainly excuses for Corellebeck, and hopefully we see him back at the races with better manners. On to race number 6, the Pink Ladies Day Luncheon, July 9 handicap over 1,400 metres. Now, Imposing Dream pulled up with cardiac arrhythmia.
That's right, so the standard embargo there, Mark, which is the veterinary clearance with an ECG and also must trial to the satisfaction of the stewards. A great shot, raced keenly through the early and middle stages. Klondike Kenny was wide and 12 rounds, Lanewood's in the straight, and Jatumi raced keenly and was also wide from the 600.
Now the big one, race 7, the Group $350,000 Belmont Sprint over 1,400 metres. A bit to report, Paul Harvey on Hazabil shifted in abruptly on It's a Him.
And that's right, that did cause some minor contact there to It's a Him, so a caution there to Paul Harvey just to be careful when moving inwards in the early stages of races in future. Fuchsia Bandana was fractious in the barriers and then threw its head on jumping and lost 2 lengths there. Hazabil, Paul Harvey put forward that it was under pressure prior to straightening, has vetted out okay, so there will be blood specimens taken from this horse through the week, and we'll report those findings. And Lucky Grey was also vetted after the race, Mark. Never really run on in the straight as it customarily does, and there were no abnormalities there.
On to the last of the day, race number 8, Amelia Park Beef handicap over 1,400 metres. Now, Military Ruler looked to be a stride slow away, and Desi's Dream was disappointing after being caught a little wide and not really racing on.
That's right, Military Ruler. Just a bound there and slow into stride, lost 1 length. Thunderclap Newman impeded between the 400 and the 250. As you said, Mark, Desi's Dream never really settled, pulled quite hard, was also obliged to cover a little bit of extra ground, so some excuses there for Desi's Dream.
There were also race specimens taken from certain horses, and those samples will be tested during the week.
Yeah, that's right. We did a bit more testing today, given it was a feature day there, Mark. So those horses are all reported in the stewards report there. Second place Battle Hero out of the main race, and a number of pre-race blood samples taken.
Now, as per usual, tonight on the Chris website we can find the stewards report.
Yeah, that should be published within the next half hour, I'd say, Mark.
Wonderful, and thank you to Brad Lewis, Rawa, and we all hope you had a great day at Belmont for the feature race Belmont Sprint Day.